Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we are playing Marvel Champions, and we've got She-Hulk versus Ultron, standard difficulty. Ultron's got the under attack modular loaded in his deck, and I've got a link to the She-Hulk deck in the description below. We are ready to go here, so let's see what we've got in store. So once again, this is the main scheme for Ultron, the Crimson Cowl. Claw's mysterious red hooded employer is really the genocidal android Ultron. So we've already set up here, so we can go ahead and switch over to the main scheme here. Ultron is using the components Claw delivered to order to build an army of Ultron drones, or in order to build an army of Ultron drones. So let's start with our opening hand of 6. So we got Strength in Numbers, Security, Ant-Man, Stinger, Strength in Numbers, and an Assess the Situation. Now, I'm not a big fan of a lot of these, so I'm gonna get rid of both Strength in Numbers. I think I'll get rid of Ant-Man as well. You know what? And Stinger. And let's keep these two. I mean, assess. You know what? I'm going to get rid of the Assess the Situation too. Okay. So let's draw back up. So there's Squirrel Girl, Quinn Carrier, Ground Stomp, Focus Rage, and another Assess the Situation. Okay, so that's going to be our opening hand. So when revealed, the Crimson Cowl, each player puts top card of the deck into play, face down with them, engage with them as a drone minion. So we do that. And now I don't believe we have anything that's really dependent on being in alter ego form. So let's switch over to She-Hulk. As soon as she flips, she does 2 damage. So I'm going to choose to do 2 damage directly to Ultron. So now he's down to 15. Let's get Squirrel Girl into play. I'm going to use Strength to put her in play. So for 2, as soon as she enters play, she deals 1 damage to each enemy. So I'm going to deal 1 damage to that one and 1 damage to Ultron. So he goes down to 14. And what else can we do here? Yeah, Ground Stomp, definitely not. We could get one of our Focus Rage upgrades on the board, which might be nice. Alternatively, we could get the Quinn Carrier. You know what? Let's just do the Quinn Carrier. Gives us an extra resource every turn. So that will cost us 3. And now for my move, I'm going to attack with She-Hulk for 3, bringing Ultron down to 11. And Squirrel Girl is just going to stand there and not do anything because she's only got 2 hit points. So now I'm going to ready up and draw my hand limit of 4. So we got a Power of Leadership, a Gamma Slam, Deft Focus, and the Triskelion. Okay. So that will be our hand next turn. Villain phase begins. A threat comes down to the main scheme. Ultron's going to attack for 1, 2. He's going to attack for 2, and the boost is choose to either spend a physical resource or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. Well, I guess I have this wild resource that I could spend. And you know what? I think I am actually going to spend that. So rather than getting another drone minion into play, I'll spend that. Now, as part of Ultron's attack, as the force response, we get to choose to either put a drone in play or put another threat on the main scheme. I'm going to choose to do a drone. And now an encounter card gets dealt, and it is Advanced Ultron Drone. It's the minion. Sorry, I thought it was the upgrade for the drones. Okay, so he's got guard, so I can't attack Ultron while he's in play. So that's not fantastic. And now it is my turn again. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with both She-Hulk and Squirrel Girl. So she's going to take a point of damage. And we're going to get rid of the Advanced Ultron Drone. Now, when he is defeated, I have to put the top card of my deck face down with engage with me as a drone minion, which I'll do there. I'm going to spend Gamma Slam to install Deft Focus, and I'm going to exhaust the Quinn Carrier to put the Triskelion into play. And now I'm going to flip over into Alter Ego mode, just because I really feel like I need that increased card draw. Being stuck as She-Hulk with only the 4 cards every turn is going to be incredibly limiting for me. So that is everything I can do on this turn. So I'm going to ready up my crew here. Let's fit this all nicely into here. And now I can draw up to 6. So there's an Avengers Mansion, an Energy, Wonder Man, 1-2 Punch, Hellcat, and Legal Practice. Okay, and flipping into Alter Ego mode pretty much guarantees that we're going to be advancing the main scheme onto the next stage. Or it doesn't pretty much, it definitely does. So 1 threat starts on here as part of the beginning of the villain phase. Now Ultron's going to scheme for a base of 1 + 1. So now the main scheme is going to advance. So now the Crimson Cowl is met. The assault on NORAD begins. As you pursue Ultron, you receive a distress call from the North American Aerospace Defense Command in Colorado. They are besieged by an army of Ultron drones. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play, face down, engage with them as a drone minion. Okay, so these guys are really starting to pile up. That's not fantastic. Now, assault on NORAD. If Ultron gains control of NORAD, he will have access to the United States Ballistic Missile Command. Now, I believe in past games against Ultron, I have been really messing up here. I have to pay very special attention to this force response, that after placing threat here during step 1 of the villain phase, I have to choose to either put a 2 additional threat there or the top card of my deck into play, engage with me as a face down minion. So that's something I'm going to have to pay much better attention to. Okay, so that was just the villain, the main villain's scheme. Now these 3 guys are all going to scheme. I'm going to use Jennifer Walters' I Object ability to object to one of their schemes, but now the other 2 are going to scheme for 1 and 2. So I got 2 threat on the main scheme. Now an encounter card gets dealt. Concussive Blast. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each friendly character. Alrighty, see you later, Squirrel Girl. That's your last hit point. And Jen Walters is a friendly character. She's not in hero form, but it doesn't indicate whether they have to be in hero form or not. Just that they're friendly, and she's friendly, so she takes damage. So down to 14. Okay, so now that's the end of the villain phase. Now it's on to the player phase. And what shall we do? I'm half tempted to get the Avengers Mansion into play here. Just for that increased card draw. I think I will do that. So Legal Practice. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that will be the 4 resources that I'm using to pay for it. Whoops. Right? Yeah. Okay, so those are the 4 resources that I'm using to put in Avengers Mansion. I'm going to tap it right away to draw a card. There's another Legal Practice. Now I could use a Legal Practice to just get rid of those 2 threat by pitching my other 2 cards in hand. I don't know that I necessarily want to do that. Now I got 3 drone minions engage with me, which is not super cool, but if I'm in hero phase or hero mode, that will take care of some of that. I could do a 1-2 punch. Hellcat. Yeah. Well, I've got 14 hit points. So, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch over to hero mode. And once I'm in hero mode, I do 3 damage. And I can... These guys only have 1 hit point. So it seems like a huge... overkill to use them for these drone minions, but it's just going to, well, you know what? No, I'm gonna forgo that. I'm gonna do 3 damage against Ultron. I don't want to waste two hit points of damage if I can avoid that. Now I'm going to put Hellcat into play. I'm going to spend 1, 2, and then 3 resources from the Quinn Carrier to put her into play. She can do 2 thwart, so I could actually take care of both of those, but I'm instead just going to do a single attack from her, and she'll take damage, and that's going to get rid of one of these drone minions. So now there's just the 2, and that's all I can do this turn, so I'm going to ready back up and draw 4 cards from my hands to get a Helicarrier, a Focused Rage, a Ground Stomp. Ooh, that's nice. And a Split Personality. That's the card I like in this deck for sure. Okay, so first thing that's going to occur is a threat comes down on the main scheme. So we're going to get rid of... Let's clean that up a little bit. So there's 3 threat on the main scheme, and now I have to decide whether to put 2 additional threat or another drone in play. I'm going to put another drone in play. She's got high hit points, so she can take the damage. Now Ultron's going to attack for a base of 2 plus 2. So he's going to do 4 damage, so I'll take her down to 10 hit points. Now I have to decide whether to put a singular threat. I'm actually going to put... Well, you know what? No. I'm going to put a drone in play. So another drone, 4 of them. Now the drones are all going to attack, so that's going to do another 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So she's down to 6 hit points, which is not fantastic. Now an encounter card comes down. Let's hope it's not one that is reliant on how many drones are in play, because we're getting a little uncomfortable here. This is a Caught Off Guard. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. So I have to. I have no choice. So I'm going to discard the Triskelion. So that gets that taken off the board, but at least it could have been a lot worse. Okay, so now we are in hero mode again. Now I would love to just do this Ground Stomp right now, because that would take care of all of these guys. Now it is a superpower. Okay. Oh, but then I'm a buck short for my split person. Oh, no, I'm not. I go to the Avengers Mansion. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to spend Deft Focus for a resource on a superpower attack. And I'm working towards this. I'm going to exhaust the Quinn Carrier for the other resource. And I'm going to do a Ground Stomp. That's going to do 1 damage to each enemy. So that's going to do 1, 1, 1, and 1. So those were the cards that I missed out on by having all these drone minions in play. And then a 1 to Ultron there. Okay, so that resolves that Ground Stomp ability. Now I'm going to exhaust Avengers Mansion to draw a card. And let's see what I get here. And it is an Endurance. But now I have 3 resources in hand that I can use the Split Personality. So now the question being... how do I want to play this? Do I want to attack? Do I want to flip and then recover? I think I want to flip and recover because I've only got 6 hit points out of 15. So, but first I'm going to thwart with Hellcat. So she's going to take a damage. She's going to take 2 threat off of the main scheme. Now I'm going to flip by spending 3 resources to use this Split Personality. So I can now change my form and then draw up to my printed hand size. So that's 6 cards. 1, 2. So I got Superhuman Strength, Avengers Tower, a 1-2 punch, Assess the Situation, the Power of Leadership, and Avengers Assemble. Okay, so those are going to be the 6 cards. And now I'm still fully in control here. So, what does that mean for me? Like I said, I was going to recover for 5, so that will bring me up to 11 hit points. Now I should get some upgrades in play, I think, would be not a bad idea. I can get a Superhuman Strength and an Avengers Tower, looks like. I can still flip over to She-Hulk because I didn't use my turns flip yet. The Avengers Tower or Avengers Assemble allows me to ready my allies, but I think that's kind of overkill. Okay, so I think that might be what I end up doing is I'm going to flip to, or I'm going to spend 2 resources to put in the superhuman strength, and I'm going to pay the other 2 resources to put in the Avengers Tower. So now my ally limit is back up to 4 again. I lost out on that the Triskelion there, but that's okay. And now I'm going to flip back over to She-Hulk, and I'm going to do 2 damage for flipping. So that takes Ultron down to 5 hit points, and yeah, that's not an attack, that's a response. So this doesn't come into play. And now that I think that's everything I can do, so I'm going to ready up my cards here and draw up to 4. Now I'm going to draw 1, which is a genius card, and take an encounter card. And now I got to shuffle up to get the rest. So he's got 5 hit points left. He started with 17, so we are making some progress here. Only 1 threat of the main scheme, but it is stage 2. So I got to be okay with that. And then once he advances to stage 2, he's going to become a lot more aggressive with those drone minions. He's going to pull the drone minions as he's attacking and get increased attack power based on every drone minion that's in play. So we'll have to be careful of that as well. Okay, so I got 1 genius, and then strength in numbers, an assess the situation, and a 1-2 punch. So that is my stellar hand for next turn. Okay, so now the assault on Norad begins, or continues rather. Threat comes down to the main scheme, and now I decide, do I put an additional 2 threat there, or you know what, I'm going to put an additional 2 threat there. As silly as that sounds, but Hellcat's out there. She's got 2 thwart, so that will help alleviate some things. Ultron's going to attack for a base of 2 plus 1. So he's going to attack for 3. And he heals 1 damage for each drone minion engaged with you. Now, he currently doesn't have a drone minion engaged with me. He might in a second if I choose to do it that way. But so he's going to do the 3 damage to me. So 1, 2, and 3. So down to 8 hit points. And now I can decide whether to take another drone minion or another threat on the main scheme. Right? 1 threat. Either place 1 threat on the main scheme. Okay. So that is what we're going to do. So he does have 5 threat on the main scheme now. Now an additional encounter card gets dealt. And in addition to the other one I got for exhausting my player deck. So first off is an advanced Ultron drone. So that's the one with guard. So he's in play against me. And now Android efficiency. Each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down and engages them as a drone minion. Okay, so that will come down. And now that is the end of the villain phase. So now it's my turn again. And I think what I should do first is exhaust Avengers Mansion to draw a card. So there's Hawkeye. I can get Hawkeye into play by exhausting Avengers Tower, and I'll do the Quinn Carrier to get her into play. So now she's on the board. I can use my strength in numbers to exhaust both these guys, but I do want to get rid of some of that threat, though. It is nice just to have her in play. Yeah, I do like the abilities of this deck to just get a ton of allies out, but still at the same time I need to really manage the amount of threat and damage that I'm taking. So shoot. Yeah, and I'm not loving these cards either. I've got a genius, which is great, but I don't have anything to spend it on. Now she does get the +2 attack for an attack. Is it foolish of me to just go for... Because I cannot flip over to alter ego mode on this round. Because if I do, I'm almost guaranteed... Well, there's a very real possibility this will advance to stage 3, and then it's just a very short amount of time before the game is over. But if I stay in hero mode, then I still have a little bit of a relief for the threat on the main scheme. All right, let's see what happens here. Gonna spend strength in numbers and exhaust both allies to draw 2 cards to replace them. There's a focused rage and a 1-2 punch. Do I have any superpower cards in hand? I do not. So my deft focus does not assist me here. I can install the focused rage, and I can spend a genius card and a 1-2 punch to pay for it. I can exhaust it, take a damage. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to exhaust focused rage, take a damage. So I'll go down to 7 and draw a card to replace it. There's another one. I'm going to attack with She-Hulk and attack the advanced Ultron drone. Now I have +2 attack, so it's not going to stun the villain, but at least we'll get rid of this guard drone minion or whatever you want. Yeah, it's advanced Ultron drone minion. So now it gets replaced by another drone minion right away. I can spend my focus rage to play a 1-2 punch, so I can ready up. She-Hulk right away, and now I could choose to attack with her again, and I think I ought to. She's going to do 3 damage, and I'm gonna do it to Ultron. 1, 2, and 3. Take him down to 2 hit points. I'm going to use the assess the situation to increase my card draw by 1 for this turn. And now that's everything I can do. So let's ready up here and see what happens. I'll put that there. So I got my 2 allies. Now I'm going to draw 5 cards. So there's the Triskelion, Helicarrier, assess the situation, ground stomp, and another assess the situation. Okay. All right. So that's the end of the player phase. Now the villain phase starts. A threat comes down to the main scheme, and now I choose to either put an additional 2 threat or a drone minion. I'm going to do the drone minion. Ultron's going to attack for a base of 2 + 3. He's going to do 5 damage to me, taking me down to 2 hit points. Boo. So now the drone minions are going to attack, and I'm going to block with Hellcat for one of their attacks, and she gets defeated. No retaliate. Here, I don't know what I was thinking there for a second, but I thought there'd be a retaliate, but no, there's certainly not. So now the other 2 drone minions need to attack, and I'm going to defend one of their attacks with Hawkeye. She's going to take a single point of damage, but she does not actually get defeated. And now the other one, I'm just going to soak it as an attack. So 1, and She-Hulk is down to a single point of health. An encounter card is now going to come down, and it is attached to Ultron. After he schemes, place 1 threat on each side scheme. After Ultron schemes, place 1 threat on each side scheme. Okay, well, there's no side schemes, which is all right. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay, now it's the player phase. Let's see what we can do here. I can do a ground stomp. So let's do that. I'm going to exhaust Deft Focus and the Quinn Carrier to do a ground stomp, do 1 damage to each enemy. So that takes care of all of these guys. Split personality, shoot. 1-2 punch and strength in numbers. And 1 hit point worth of damage to Ultron. So that resolved that. Boy, it would have been nice to have that split personality card, because now I got to wait for it to come all the way back around. I could just thwart for one. Well, here, let's exhaust Avengers Mansion to draw a card to replace it. There's Ant-Man. I could get the Triskelion or the Helicarrier into play by using one of these assess the situation cards. That would give me an additional resource. Yeah, what the hey? We'll see what happens here. So I'm going to spend the Triskelion, assess the situation, and Ant-Man as the resources required to play the Helicarrier. I'm going to thwart for one to take that down by one. Oh, you know what? No, that's dumb. Sorry, undo. I'm going to flip and exhaust to recover 5. So I'm going to go up to 6 hit points, and I'm going to spend this assess the situation card to increase my card draw. So now I have a card draw of 7 going into my next round. So there's a strength, an energy, a legal practice, power of leadership, Avengers Assemble, Stinger, and one more, which is another power of leadership. Okay. So that'll be my hand going into next round. Let's ready things up here, and let's just see what happens. Okay. First thing that happens is threat comes down on the main scheme. One threat comes down, and force response. I'm going to put a drone minion engage with me. Now Ultron's going to scheme now. Thankfully, there's no side scheme, so he can't put additional threat. But he's going to do a base of 1 plus 2, 3. So he's going to do 3 threat on the main scheme, which is going to actually advance it. That's not great. Countdown to Oblivion. Main scheme. Ultron has seized control of NORAD. It's only a matter of time before he overcomes the command safeguards and launches the nuclear arsenal. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engage them as a drone minion. I've never heard you say that before, game. It's up to you to save the world from nuclear Armageddon. Threat cannot be removed from this scheme. If the stage is completed, the players lose the game. Okay, well, things definitely escalated quickly here. So what are we going to do? We're going to somehow win the game. Somehow. Okay, so it's the player phase. I'm going to exhaust Avengers Mansion. Hang on. I'm jumping way ahead, aren't I? That was Ultron's scheme. Now these two guys are both going to scheme. Uh-oh. 2. Now I need an encounter card. Assault. When revealed, this card gains surge. Okay. Advance. When revealed, the villain schemes. Base of 1 plus 1 is 2. So now the main scheme has 4 out of 5. So I think it's mathematically impossible for me to win at this point in time, which sucks a lot. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I don't think that there's. Well, okay, let's just see where we go. So we're gonna exhaust Avengers Mansion and draw a card. There's a Gamma Slam. Okay. He gets 22 hit points on his turn. So yeah. What we can do is we can put Stinger into play by exhausting Avengers Tower to reduce the cost of the next minion by 1. So she gets into play. She has only 1. I'm going to attack for 1 with Stinger to do 1 point of damage to Ultron, which takes care of his first phase. Now brings him on to his second one. So now he starts with 22 hit points. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 22 hit points. Now I'm going to flip over to She-Hulk. She's going to do 2 damage to an enemy. So she'll do it to Ultron. Takes him down to 20. I'm going to... she has 2 hit points only. So what I should do here is... So I have enough resources. I have enough resources to do a couple things here. But it really remains to be seen how that's all going to pay off. I don't have any more allies to use. And if I attack with her, she's just going to get destroyed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend these 2 Power of Leaderships to play Avengers Assemble. So ready each Avengers character I control. And until the end of the phase, each Avenger, which I can't forget that She-Hulk herself is an Avenger, gets +1 thwart and +1 attack. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Stinger attacked, didn't she? Yeah, she attacked. So she gets damage. So now, but she has 2 attack now. So I'm going to attack with her for 2. So that will do 2 damage to Ultron, taking him down to 18. And now she gets knocked out. I'm going to attack for 3 with Hawkeye. So that will take Ultron down to 15. So, but then she gets knocked out in the process. I'm going to... Now, do I have a 1-2 punch? I don't believe so. I'm going to attack with She-Hulk for 4. Oh, wait, hang on. Before I do that, just in case, because you never know, I'm going to do a Focus Rage, exhaust Focus Rage, take a damage, and draw a card. And if I get a 1-2 punch here, that would be fantastic. Oh, it's a ground stomp. But that's not nothing. Okay. So now she has 15 health. I'm going to do an attack with She-Hulk for 4 because she has +1 due to the Avengers Assemble. So that takes Ultron down to 11. And now I'm going to... I think this might work. I'm going to do... So I have the resources for the Gamma Slam. But what I can actually even do is like this. So I'm going to exhaust Deft Focus and as one of the resources, plus the energy, plus legal practice to pay for the Gamma Slam. Deal X damage to an enemy to a maximum of 15, where X is the amount of damage you have sustained. Well, I've got 15 hit points down to 5, so I'm doing 10 damage to Ultron in 1 hit. Down to 1 hit point. And now what I'm going to do as my final move is spend these 2 resources to do a ground stomp to deal 1 damage to each enemy. I even defeat all of the drones and do the final point of damage to Ultron. Wow. I did not think that was going to happen. But there it is. Wow, that was very different than the last game where I had allies coming out the wazoo and I was using the strength in numbers to draw a bunch of cards and hopefully get my my alter ego flip card here, the split personality and doing it that way. But yeah, that went very differently, but the results spoke for themselves. That was so close. 1 threat away from losing the game. And not even in his second stage. Whew, that was well, that was cool. Okay, well, this completes the journey of She-Hulk through the core set. Next game we'll be playing as Iron Man, so we'll see how that goes. And I hope you join me for that. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.